Echo Network Studios here in Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Odd Musings. We're your hosts. I'm Brett Pinson. This is
Scott Zambelli.
And we are world famous comic book artists and creators.
Wow, world famous.
Well, yeah.
Which world is that?
Well, you went to Paris.
Which world is that?
And then I live in my own little world.
On Uranus.
I've not been in Uranus.
I did see an article that scientists have determined that it does officially smell like methane, which means Uranus smells like farts.
There you go.
So there you have it. Breaking.
And it's behind Saturn.
It's okay. That's not how we intended to start the show. But so how was your week, Brett?
My week was just fine. We've had an interesting weather week. We went from that ice storm in Flint to 70 degrees. We're back to rain and 60s.
And earthquakes.
We had an earthquake. And it's funny, I saw the zone map, and you called me to see if I had felt it.
To see if you survived.
Yeah, if I survived. And I looked at it like the next day or so, they finally showed this is where everybody felt it at. It was like 3 miles from my house was the last spot to feel it. So I live on the very outskirts of Belleville, Van Buren Township. Yeah. More towards almost in Washoe County. So.
We need our friends from T-24 to make up some I survived the Great Michigan Quake of 2018.
Yeah, I love the pictures. Every time we've had an earthquake, people share the same pictures. It's the lawn chair turnover.
Yeah, somehow we survived it. I will say I heard it. I heard a great rumbling. I thought it was a truck flying down.
We get enough trucks coming down that I couldn't tell if we heard it or not.
Same thing with us. Like if the UPS or truck or whatever, if somebody's going and they're going kind of fast, you hear this rumbling, and I just remember thinking, what jerk is driving down this road so fast? And then about 30 minutes later, all these people were talking about the earthquake. I'm like, oh, what earthquake? And then when they said the time, I thought about it. I'm like, whoa, that's what I heard.
The epicenter for was over in Windsor.
Windsor, yeah. Those Canadians.
Or actually, it was a little south of Windsor there. It starts with an A.
What were they doing to cause this? I don't know.
Who knows?
But so a good week for you overall, though.
Yeah, worked a lot this week.
We had a birthday celebration this weekend.
Yeah, yesterday was Mom's birthday.
Connie, the Comic-Con mom, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday!
Yeah, took her out for breakfast yesterday, and then took her out for dinner last night. And I think she had a good day. Got her some flowers on Monday night. I was working out in the West Ann Arbor store, and at my last shop, I was like, "Oh, these are nice," and so I got her some nice flowers, and
good,
and brought them back to her, and some Intimate donuts.
Oh, I know she likes those.
She mentioned those. I was like, "Ooh, Intimates looks good." So
very cool.
We did that yesterday, and she's heading out to go see my sister on Saturday for a week and a half.
Yep, down in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, she'll be in Clearwater actually, but she's going to go help out because my sister is going next weekend. Her friend's daughter is graduating college, Norma, and so we're going to go celebrate. I think they're going to New Orleans for a day or something like that. And
great.
She's got to be back by Sunday night to take care of the kids on Monday for an appointment or something, she was saying. Awesome. And then Mom comes home Tuesday, May 8th, I believe it is.
Awesome.
So she'll be here for Motor City Comic-Con, which she's excited about.
Yeah, Motor City Comic-Con's always a blast. Great turnout by everybody. My week was pretty good. I've been doing a couple things. Of course, the real estate, have been heavy into that. It's that time of year where now people are really starting to list their homes. When I was looking at the statistics for this last week, we've turned the corner where more houses were being listed this week than what were being sold. Okay. So, if you are thinking about selling, you got to, it's still a seller's market. And if you want to top out your dollars and what you're going to get, you got to get going, because pretty soon we're going to, we're going to hit that point where instead of having 10 buyers for every one house, we're going to have 10 houses for every one buyer. And when that happens, you're not going to get the best possible offer. Right. So get out there, talk to us. You don't have to do every little thing. Trust me, the buyers are not picky right now.
Well, most of the time you do all this stuff, and what's going to happen, they're going to come in and change it anyways.
Right. You still want it to look good, but like I said, right now, buyers are so frustrated because, they've put offers on 6, 7, 8 homes and have lost those bids that they just want to get a house, and they're willing to accept some minor work. I mean, obviously, if it's structural, that's different.
Yeah, but you're talking about just like if you need a new coat of paint, stuff like that.
Right.
Most part, I know when people buy a house, first thing they do is they go in and clean it, regardless of how clean it was.
And then they're going to personalize it.
Yeah, they're going to paint what they want to paint, the colors, the scheme they want, and go from there.
Yeah.
Or rip out carpet, things like that. So don't be. When I hear people spending like 10, 20 grand to put in a house, thinking they're going to get an extra 40 grand, it's like, no, it's only good if you're building like an extra structure on it.
Yeah, and even then, statistically, you only get half your money back on what you put in. So, you got. If you're unsure, call a realtor.
Yeah,
I prefer myself, but there's other great ones. Like I see Raph is watching here, Raphael Fazzolari. I've never said your last name, Raph, so sorry. But he's also out of Keller Williams Lakeside, so you can check him out. He's a lot more handsome and taller than me. So
you guys are realtors or realtors?
Realtors. But
back to clearly diet for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. But so call a realtor up and have them look at your house. They'll give you the advice you need as far as what you should and shouldn't do to get the house ready, because we work with buyers. We know what they're looking for, so do that. And then the other fun thing I've been doing is, as people who know me close, is my Christianity, my faith is very strong, is important to me. And so on my Beloved Witness page, I've kind of started doing these video blogs on there too. And so that's been a fun thing I've been doing lately. And if I can grow it and get sponsors, maybe I can move it into the Echo Network and have an official show.
There you go.
If Dominic would have me.
He's like, if you got money.
He's like, I'm going to double the prices. If I have to put up with you for 2 shows, no. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I'm just toying around. That's just my fun time anyway.
Awesome. I've just been, like I said, working, and I did work on a couple pages in between when I had not sleeping and trying to get the book done. I'm probably not going to have it for Border City as much as I want to. Although I did get confirmation this week of another show. I'm doing the Kids Read Comics show in Ann Arbor in June. It'll be Father's Day weekend, 16th and 17th, I believe.
Nice.
It is. I don't know. I believe it's going to be at the library. That's where I should be at. They got a list up there now of who's going to be there. I'll share that on Odd Musings page.
Cool.
And you have to scroll all the way down. I'm the very last one they announced. So that's right, because Dan's
They're saving the best for last.
Yeah, Dan Mishkin, who's said it for years, you should come out. And I've always been booked at other shows.
Right.
Whether it was Heroes or Denver or Phoenix and stuff like that. So it's great to finally get a chance to do the show. It's just to have comics. I won't be taking any artwork there. And a lot of families come out that don't normally come to Comic-Con. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Awesome.
And they got a few different guests. They got Judd Vinnick coming out, who's done...
That's in June?
Yeah, in June. So I'll be promoting that more as it gets closer for that, and sharing the information on Odd Musings as I get more information about that. So,
and then as we also discussed, it's been kind of a sad week in a way.
It's been a weird week.
A lot of well-known people and celebrities have passed away recently. Yeah. We've had a little flood of them. The most popular one was probably the Barbara Bush passing.
Right. Well, it started with R. Lee Ermey, which was a surprise one there. You guys know him as the drill sergeant. And
he had pneumonia and died from complications of that.
Yeah, he's in his early 70s.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he wasn't even really that bad of health, but the flu and pneumonia is something you just can't take a chance with. And if you let it go too long, it can mess you up.
Yeah, definitely. So, and he's so iconic. If you don't know the name, you definitely know the voice.
Yeah, he was in Full Metal Jacket, was the drill instructor.
He was pretty much America's drill instructor. Yeah. I mean, he had that voice and cadence, and I believe he actually was a drill instructor when he was in the Marines.
Yes, he was. It's kind of how he got the role. When he came out after Vietnam, he had done a little bit of acting, and they found out he was a drill instructor, so he got cast as the drill instructor and was just top notch.
A friend of mine, Dan Hench, he's in the 501st with me. He was a Marine.
Okay,
and he was going through boot camp at that time for the Marines when it was coming out, and he said the drill instructor said, "Other people are paying to do this, but you get to live it." And he insulted him and did all this stuff. Yeah. He's like, "But you all get to live it." So that was a real surprise.
I liked it. He was good. He was in a movie with Steve Zahn and Jack Black. I want to say it was called Say Anything, and they were trying to save their buddy from getting married to this,
which had the amazing appearance by Neil Diamond.
Yes, that was the whole thing about it. See them dressed up.
That was so hilarious when you find out Neil Diamond was really in the movie and they were kidnapping him.
That was the best part of it. And see him earlier in that, when you see him as always this tough guy in all the movies,
right?
And he does this. He was the tough guy gym teacher who turned out to be gay, and him and Jack Black got together, which was funny. But so besides that, Harry Anderson died last week.
That one was a shocker.
That was a shock too. Loved Harry Night Court. I loved his stand up. His magician stuff he did was great.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, man, because that's one of the guys I really wanted to meet. He never did Comic-Con.
If not for him in Night Court, I would not know who Mel Torme was.
Well, I mean, if you pay attention, he wrote the Christmas song on a beach in July.
No, I know, but it's like every week we heard about Mel Torme and how he was a fan of his, and I'm like, who's Mel Torme?
Well, he had that. He had what's his name? Guy that played Gomez Adams in the '60s. Adams Family was on it for a season or so. Brent Spiner was on the show. Yeah. So a lot of people that
they were the redneck couple. That
he was only like 6 or 7,
and he was like. Wait, who was 6 or 7?
He's only in 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like he was in more.
Right.
But
it's like they'd be in court over their chickens or whatever. And
I just didn't know that you weren't supposed to choke your chickens out in the middle of the street before you barbecued them.
Exactly.
Of course, my favorite was when the first season, this is one of the classic lines from that, was he was trying to hook up with the DA at the time, who was not Marky Post. It was before that. And you got the guy, and supposedly, I'm blanking on his name, though, Aston, John Aston, that's who it was. And he's in the next bet, and supposedly he was Harry's dad, and all of a sudden he's talking with the aide Harry is, and he's like, I just don't want to say she tells back, he goes, she wants to jump your bones.
I do remember that.
Just stupid lines like that.
Yeah.
But I love that show. You had Bull, everything else. The whole ensemble was great, but Harry Anderson really led it, and it all came from doing bits on Saturday Night Live. That's where they came up with the show.
Yeah, was he a stand-up comic?
He had done some stand-up and performer. He's a magician.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually an accomplished magician.
Yeah, he kind of combined the two, right? Comedy with the magic.
Yeah, and he was it's a subtle comedy to it, too. He was not trying to be like Jonathan the Magician, who was a little more over the top in that. He was very subtle, but it was real magic, and he was really good at that.
Of course, we had John Larroquette in there, too.
Yep.
What was his character name?
Dan Field.
Dan, yeah. And then Bull, what you said,
Richard Mall.
That was
he was funny when you see him on the show. He's always clean-shaven, and ever since then, grown beard.
Right.
He's like, oh, my God. Bull.
No relation to Darth Maul, though.
No.
And then we had in the wrestling world, we had legend Bruno Sammartino.
82 years old. Yeah. And I remember he was wrestling in the 80s, so he was old in the 80s.
But what's funny is, when I read he was 82, I'm like, well, I thought he was 82 20 years ago. That's awful. But
I saw him several years ago because he lived in Pittsburgh, and he came out to the Pittsburgh Comic Con one day, and that was the last time I saw him.
Yeah, I loved him, and when
he was around
growing up in the 80s, watching,
he's one of the icons of the WWE.
And then the big news that just came out, it was today they announced it, right, about Bob Doro.
Yeah, last night I heard it, and then today they're talking about it. He did the Schoolhouse Rock,
the music for it. He was the writer of the music, which
created the iconic songs like Conjunction Junction, 3 is a Magic Number, all those.
It's such his songs are so iconic because those of us who grew up in the 80s there, we heard those songs all the time on Saturday morning TV, and Brett has a great line of art he did based on
I've done 8 total. One of them's a mashup of a bunch of stuff from all the ones I've done.
All the characters everyone's used to. Like you got the Bill.
I got Bill. Bill was the second one I did. The first one I did was the Verb, and that was a commission for a guy I've known over the years at Comic Cons. I did Brown Hornet for him, and he said, "Can you do me the Verb?" So I did the Verb.
Right.
And then people saw it. They go, "Well, you should do Bill. You should do Conjunction Junction." And I had teachers saying, "Can you do this?"
Yeah.
So I came out with a math rock one, who I did for a teacher friend of mine, Carrie McElvey, over at Lincoln Schools. Also, the collage one I did a special one for her with her name on it hanging in the class. And I did the talk last year at the 5th grade graduation. They asked me to come back again this year.
And often we end up near each other at shows. And what's fun to watch, though, is when people see your posters, right away you can see them going back in the memory, in that vault of memories, and they'll start singing the songs that they remember, and they want to talk to you about what their favorite parts were. And it really did leave a mark. So, Bob Doro did such a great job with his music. He was originally a jazz folk singer, musician, and when they
brought him in with the advertising company brought him in.
And
headed by Eisner was actually part of Disney at the time, and ABC. So he brought them in for the Saturday morning cartoons. They needed children's programming because of the law changes.
Right.
And so they said, well, we can do these. And they were like 3-minute commercials.
Correct.
But it satisfied the education requirements.
Yep.
And they were fun. I mean, everybody I've read that posted on comments on this guy passing were saying, oh, I remember this, and because of this, I passed government because of the preamble and this and that. And so it really taught us a lot of stuff.
It's catchy. Although with texting and everything now, I guess nobody pays attention to conjunctions or anything.
Yeah, there's no more grammar.
functions are. No one knows what the functions of a conjunction are. But
well, they're hooking up words and phrases and functions. Come on now, conjunction junction.
Indeed. But
and of course we mentioned Barbara Bush passed away.
And unfortunately George H.W. Bush, her husband, George W. Bush's father, he's in his 90s, and 93 I think he is currently. And he's suffering from complications of infection that has now gone septic in his bloodstream, and plus usually at that age when the one passes, unfortunately the other one doesn't last much longer. So he's getting he's had issues for a while.
Well, I know his publicist person put out a thing, said he's one of those guys that he's driven regardless of everything, and he really wants to go to their summer home this year in Kennebunkport, where they all pretty much stay for the summer.
Right.
And so I think if anybody can get through it, he can. He's a survivor, a World War II veteran pilot who got shot down, who survived that.
Yeah, he was a World War II hero.
Yeah, he was. He fought for U.S. and was. And to hear their story, when you see them starting off as young as they were, and
they had that special. Did you? I don't know if you saw it. They did a special about how they met.
I saw a few different things.
It was really nice. It was really nice.
And they had a great relationship. And politics aside, whatever you believe and stuff like that, these are two people that truly loved and cared about each other. Yep. And I hope to see him stay around for a while, because I know the family would definitely be very devastated with him going so quick. So
but honestly though, with Barbara Bush, even though they have a strong faith and they aren't devastated actually. It's devastating in one aspect, but what's nice is they do have a strong faith in that family, and they're not like there's a peace about it.
Yeah, there is. I've seen them talk a little bit. Like I saw Jenna Bush talked about it, because she's a today, so of course fine.
And even George,
and you can see the it's one of the things where the going forward is going to be fine. It's more that initial grief that hits.
I liked what George W. Bush said. He said, "Don't feel sorry for me." He goes, "I know she's in heaven, and I know where she's at, and we're at peace with it, and I'm paraphrasing now because I'm going from memory, but it was basically he's very blessed to have the mother he had and the life she had, and everyone's at peace with what's happened, and so that's nice."
And Jeb gave a good eulogy. I did catch that on the replay, so that was good.
But
so it's interesting amount of deaths we had this last couple weeks here of people. I'd flip it through. I saw where Seo Takahata, I'm going to get it wrong, died April 5th. He was a co-founder of Studio Ghibli with Hayao Miyazaki. I see all the Miyazaki films, things like that. But they're, and again, somebody go, well, they're old. And it's like, but at the same time, it's still one of those things where, they were still kind of doing stuff, things like that. So
right. But now, a lot of these celebrities may have been passing, but one thing you don't want to pass are the deals at International Minute Press.
Yeah, Joe thinks this is Fox News. Bite me, Joe. Here comes your ad read. Say it fast.
So, with International Minute Press, they're in Plymouth, Michigan, and they I went to the wrong line. Hold on a second.
Line.
See, Joe threw me off by casting accusations.
You bastard.
Yeah, so anyways, International Minute Press in Plymouth, Michigan prints, promotes, and designs you. Artists owned and operated. Joe and his team understand what it takes for businesses to get noticed. From custom business cards, letterheads, and envelopes to promote items and direct mail. I cannot read this script. So promotional items and direct mail advertising. Imp of Plymouth has the tools to help businesses of all sizes stand out from the rest. Contact them today for competitive pricing. Quote, mention Odd Musings to receive 20% off your next order. And for those of you who are artists who are going to be in town for Motor City Comic Con, this is a great time to give International Minute Press a try. Call them up, place your order, mention Odd Musings, get your 20% off, and we can have your prints ready for Motor City Comic Con.
Yes.
And Brett or I can pick them up even for you and bring them to the show.
Yeah, or Scott will.
Yep. No, I don't mind. I have no problem doing that.
Either way.
So do it. You can save on shipping. You just got to place an order soon enough so that it will be ready and I can pick it up.
Yeah, I'll probably be picking up prints. I'm going to place an order ready for that Wednesday before Motor City.
And if you do that, though, message me so I know I'm picking up your order. Don't just assume I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Definitely. So Let's see. Oh, now Joe's putting interesting
bogus spoilers. Yeah,
bogus spoilers. Fake news. You're the fake news, Joe.
Yes.
So anyway,
you're the cross-dresser.
Located at 1058 South Main Street in Plymouth, Michigan. Their phone number is 734-414-6203, or visit them online at www.myprinter.intlminutepress.com. So there you go. Look them up.
Yeah.
Place your orders. Make us look good. Say Odd Musing sent you.
Definitely.
And in all sincerity, Joe does an amazing job. We joke with him, but they really do an amazing job. They have a great eye for what your colors and values should be, and because they are trained.
They're artists. They know what they're doing, and they're looking for quality. The paper's good paper.
Great paper.
And
great pricing.
Yep, pricing's good. And he's looking at new products that hopefully he'll be able to announce soon. And so we'll be hoping to launch those here eventually with them and go from there. But yeah, definitely you need some prints for if you're doing Comic-Cons, get that. They do business cards.
Business cards,
I know they give a realtor discount. They'll probably give you a good deal for non-realtor.
Yep. Outside of the Odd Musings promo, if you want, it's 1,000 business cards, double-sided, full color. Great quality, $25. Just mention KW promo when you call about your business cards.
Sounds like a radio station. KW promo.
You could do a catchy song.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, moving on.
Speaking of music,
Joe,
that's a good segue.
Yeah, speaking of music.
Well, it's funny. We got in this topic at breakfast this morning. We always meet up to have at least a cup of coffee and a drink. I always get a nice tea. This guy gets coffee. I grab me a breakfast sandwich, and we plan the show. And so, free shout out to Brugger's Bagels here at Royal Oak. You guys are great, especially
Dan.
Dan and Carolyn.
You are the man.
Jess was there too today. I hadn't seen her in a while.
Dan amazes me because he remembers like every customer's name and order.
Yeah. Well, it was like by the third time we came in, so it's been almost a year now. I was like, oh yeah, you want this and this. It's like, yes, I do. Thank you.
He's like, okay, Scott. I'm like, oh, and Dan needs to be a professional voice announcer. He's got the voice, and he just I can't do it, but
he could be the voice of a new generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need him to talk, and I'll just mouth it. That way, it'll sound like it's my voice. But Brett and I were just talking off topic about music and movies.
It started with talking about Jack Black.
Oh yeah,
and then segued into Tenacious D and music, and we started talking about music and Star Wars. We were all over the place this morning.
We were.
And hey to Robert Seth Goodyear. He's just
good to see you online here.
But so we started. I said, well, when we talk about this on air, it's like, one of the things we were talking about with Star Wars was what makes the original A New Hope so good is many different things. One was the special effects.
Right.
They were ahead of their time, and part of it too was we were talking about Kiss meets the Phantom and how it really doesn't hold up. And then we talked about how things hold in Star Wars. Like, it holds up because when you see it, everything with it was one was special effects. Besides being ahead of their time, were good, but it was also the music. The music brought you. It was classical music. It wasn't dated music in terms of sound like the 70s.
George understood that the music was just as important to telling the story as the visuals and as the writing. So they came up with theme songs for all the different characters and how the story was going. They would merge the songs together to create new pieces, but you would so often if there's something to harken back to Princess Leia, the Princess Leia's theme song will kind of merge into the song a little bit, and you get that feel like, Princess Leia.
Yeah, and even with Darth Vader's the Imperial March, stuff like that, how they incorporate different ways through the whole thing.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. It's funny because we talked about Jack Black, and I didn't mention this off air, so this will be something new for Scott to hear. Is there's a movie called The Holiday that starred Jack Black, Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, and Jude Law. It came out in 2006, and it's kind of a romantic comedy in that. But what I liked about it was many different things. But one thing is Jack Black's in a movie in a blockbuster of all places, so this is before the crash, and he's with Kate Winslet showing all these movies. He starts singing the songs, and he goes like the Chariots of Fire, and he does all the different things with that. And so he's like Jaws, he's like three notes, so dun dun dun. So it's how the music really gets you into these movies. And when you think about different movies, you think about the music a lot of times, even if it's subconscious.
I mean, the all-time greatest has to be John Williams as far as composers go.
Oh yeah, I mean, he got really known from Jaws, and then Star Wars made him iconic.
Right.
And then from there, he's done everything you can think of. He does all of Spielberg's movies and most of Lucas's stuff he's done over the years, and he's done iconic things. He created the theme for Harry Potter. Potter. He did.
Well,
Jurassic
Spielberg
Park.
did Back to the Future, didn't he?
No, that was Zemeckis.
Oh, Zemeckis. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, Zemeckis did that. I mean, he's done other people besides those guys. But,
Oh no, I know, but
when you look at some of the stuff he's done over the years, he's got Star Wars is iconic. Indiana Jones is iconic for him.
Yeah.
He did the Jurassic Park theme. He created the original Harry Potter themes that they even when he didn't use him in subsequent movies, everything still came back to him because they went on that basic theme that he created.
So Cam loves the composer of the Cheers theme song. Everybody knows your name. But another
even TV shows theme songs are very iconic.
Oh yeah, a lot of those are. They're less. The composers are less known.
Yeah, well, once in a while they come out. It's like was it Growing Pains? Alan Thicke actually, I think he did the theme for that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And then who was it? Frasier. He did the theme for that one too.
Nice.
So
and then Danny Elfman. That's another big one.
Yeah, and from Oingo Boingo. First of all, he's a rock star in Oingo Boingo in the '80s, and then goes on and starts doing themes. And
he was in the band Oingo Boingo.
Yeah, he's the main guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, he wrote Dead Man's Party.
Interesting. I did not know that part.
And then he met Tim Burton. They were all in that scene in L.A. And then he started composing. And
an interesting side note is my brother is a very accomplished carpenter, and he was doing work out in L.A. for a long time. He can do everything from framing to finish, and he was hired by a lot of different celebrities. And he actually was hired to do the in-house studio of Tim Burton.
Okay.
He did the recording studio in Tim Burton's house by himself, and then he did such a good. Danny Elfman is
he's kind of a recluse.
Shut in. He does not like talking to people. So and he doesn't like going. He does his shopping online, has everything shipped to the house. He doesn't like leaving the house, and so Tim Burton personally recommended my brother to Danny Elfman because Danny Elfman wanted his studio done. So my brother got to go over there, and my understanding, if I'm getting the story correct, was when the door, he had a code to come in, and Danny Elfman would leave the room so he could come in. He would never see him.
Yeah.
And, the guy did not want to interact with anybody. But he built his studio also in his house. So a lot of these big songs were actually done in the studio my brother built.
That's kind of cool.
Which is really cool. Yeah. So and he worked on a bunch of other celebrities too. Terry Hatcher is one of them too.
Oh, okay.
Which I won't get into those stories, but not good.
Yeah. Well, actually, what Danny Elfman I mentioned too is at Motor City Comic Con, Jenna Elfman, his sister-in-law, is going to be there. She's married to Bodie Elfman, and
which is known from what was her character?
She was Dharma and Greg.
Yeah,
she's Dharma, and she's done other stuff since then, here and there. And so I was like, I may have to go meet Jenna Elfman. I always thought she was funny.
Yep.
And that. And
you just like her because she's cute.
Well, that too. And then I was pulling up other ones like who else we got there? Well, Howard Shore. He did the music for Lord of the Rings, Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
He did the music for Ed Wood, which is one of 3 films that Danny Elfman didn't do for Burton.
Yep.
So that was kind of interesting. He also did the theme music or the score music, I should say, for one of my favorite all-time movies, That Thing You Do, written and directed by Tom Hanks. So, and in fact, another tie into Motor City Comic Con, the guy that played the bass player in That Thing You Do is going to be there.
Oh, okay.
He was also in Empire Records, so they're doing a mini Empire Records reunion too. So
nice.
I was like, I may have to break out my laser disc of That Thing You Do and get him to sign that.
Nice.
Get that framed. And then Alan Silvestri was another guy I've always liked over the years.
Which ties into this week.
Yeah.
Because he did a lot of work on Avengers. I don't know if he did the current one, but he did 1 or 2 of the Avengers movies. He also did Predator. That's a famous one. Back to the Future movies he did.
Yep.
I don't know if he did all 3 or just 2 of them. I saw 2 of them listed.
He probably did all 3 because 2 and 3 they shot together.
Right.
And they came out 6 months apart. I remember they did that. So
yeah. So and then I think I hit everybody on my list.
Yeah.
Did we say Hans Zimmer? That's another big one. He did Dark Knight and some others too. So very good stuff.
Yeah.
Good times.
We got Cam here.
Gotta love the Wonders.
Yeah, it's not Wonders, it's Oneaters. Oh, actually, if you listen right, Steve Zahn's like it's Onetters. Onetters. Yeah, when they're in Villa Pianos. It's out by the airport in Erie, Pennsylvania. Supposedly is the place they were playing at.
Oh, okay.
As a band.
Oh, okay.
And the one guy comes to me, he goes, you know what this is? He goes, presidential flashcards. It's a bonus. He goes, you O-netters are packing. He goes, oh, you neaters are packing. He goes, it's O-netters. Because they wanted to be called the Wonders as in one-ders.
Right.
Until I had to change the name when they actually became kind of famous, the WONDERs. Okay. Which fits me in the fact that they end up being one-hit wonders. So.
There you go.
Great film, written by Tom Hanks. First film he ever wrote. And I remember seeing an interview. He's talking, him and his wife are there. She's reading it. And she loved it. She goes, I want to play Marguerite, which is the little barmaid that tries to pick up the drummer.
Yeah. Now, as far as movies go, any particular, I mean, for me, if I have to weed out Star Wars because that'll hit my top 10 different songs.
We'll skip Star Wars.
What are some of your what's like what pops to your head when you think of a movie song? What pops up in there?
Well, it depends. If you got the scores besides Star Wars, I know some of the iconics were always like Jurassic Park.
Terminator's a
big one.
When you hear that, you know it.
Right.
You know it's Terminator.
Yeah.
Star Wars. You know it's Star Wars.
And then there was Chariots Fire had a good theme song for that people like.
E.T. had a very iconic song, didn't it?
Yeah, the music itself was very almost whimsical.
Yeah,
and that when you hear
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter right away.
Who did the Harry Potter music?
That was Williams. The initial for the first two films.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then from there, other people have done it, but they all had to credit him because they took his basic themes and changed them up for whatever they wanted. So
to me, that's what's a really good song. Is like Harry Potter. Same with Star Wars. It's like you just hear like the first 5 notes and you already know what it is.
Well, it's like I was mentioning with
Jaws. You know the first 3. But Back to the Future was iconic. Yeah. There's so many of them you hear, and boom, you're right there. And that's what's really good. Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon by John Powell is probably Cam's favorite. Nice. Yeah.
They had a good score. In fact, I just saw they got a new How to Train Your Dragon coming out next year. Another movie. The series I think is done. They did the Dragonborn or whatever it's called, and I caught a little bit of that on Netflix. That was pretty good. I love the movies though. I'm looking forward to see what they do next with Toothless and all of them.
Robert's chiming in with Goonies.
Yes, Goonies had a good theme.
I'm not sure who did that one. Probably one of these ones listed.
It seemed like so many of these guys.
It's like these 5 guys did like 90% of everything, I think. But Goonies was another great one. Yeah. And there's always talks of Goonies coming back, and then it kind of goes away.
We're at this point now, I wouldn't want it to. You don't think
so? All the actors, if they could get them back together,
maybe. It depends. I mean,
we'd have Thanos in it.
Dave Grusin was the guy, and I'm not familiar with.
It's funny that Thanos / Cable is the older brother in Goonies.
Yeah. So, but it was Dave Grusin was the. For the score for Goonies, and then, of course, but of course, what was really known was the Cyndi Lauper song. Goonies are good enough for me. Do you remember the video? And they had all the kids in it, and basically they kind of run you through the movie. The video. So
that's right. Yeah.
So
from that time period, what always pops in my head is. Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yep.
Because we had Captain Lou Albano in the video. I love the video. Girls Just Want to Have Fun? Yeah.
And it was Captain Lou
Albano.
And that they were friends, I guess.
Okay, Dominic, you have a little bit of wrestling background, don't you?
Yeah.
What was with the rubber bands on Captain Lou's face? He always had those rubber bands.
He had some weird pirate thing going on. I don't know why the rubber bands. It doesn't fit into anything.
Weren't they like just stuck on his face? Like they weren't even like in his beard.
He had it in his beard.
No, but he would have some like hanging. Like it's like what was that about? I never understood the Captain Lou thing.
You never know when you need a rubber band.
You never know. You never know.
But he's probably sitting around and goes, "Okay, I got no money. I got to do something that people know. Hey, look, rubber bands.
I need a gimmick no one else is using in the ring right now. I know, rubber band stuck on my face."
See, what would have been good is if he was wrestling, he'd come out and take it out and be like, start shooting at the audience, And
how about TV series? Any TV series? What what song I always find myself singing, especially while drawing?
What's that?
The A-Team.
Yeah. Da, da, da,
yeah. Da, da, for some reason, I hum that while I'm drawing. I'm like, why am I humming the A-Team? It's like all the time.
We had that, and then you had just a good old boy.
Oh, yeah. The
Wouldn't change if they could.
Let's see.
So, yeah. And then, it's Robert had her A-Team. There's always a different theme songs, especially in the 80s. I mentioned Alan Thicke wrote, for the Growing Pains and all that stuff and a few others. But there's different ones that came up and over the years.
Facts of Life.
Facts of Life had their own.
Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the Facts of Life.
And, of course, Cam wants us to do Cheers,
Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah. It starts off with dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
It's just that little bit of keyboard and then goes in,
I always loved the George Wendt and
John Ratzenberger, like the entrance. Everyone
and it's like, how you doing? Well, if I was a dog, I'd be wearing Milk-Bone underwear or something. I forget what.
My favorite was they go out and they go to a bowling alley, and there's a bar. Norm walks in, you hear the whole crowd go, Norm. You're like, how do I know you're here? He goes, well, you close at 2, they close at 4.
Yeah, and he does the Comic-Con circuit every now and then.
Once in a while, yeah. Him and Ratzenberger's been popping up more. I wanted to meet him at Cincinnati last year. I just didn't get a chance to.
What cracks me up about Ratzenberger is he'll have on his banner his role in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But when you read interviews, at least old interviews of him, he's like, I didn't even remember being in the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, it was I just did it and didn't even know it. Now he has it on his banner and he didn't even remember.
I think it's all because he kind of has to have the picture there for all the purists that need every autograph of anybody that had a second.
Those are probably the people going to get autographs,
right?
And he had a mustache in that role,
and it was like a year or two before he did Cheers,
right?
So it was basically it was literally
just a small background.
It was just a walk-on role,
for some little movie.
And then he's been in every single Pixar movie.
He's in all of them,
every single one. He does a character somewhere, whether it's
he's Mr.
minor,
Potato, isn't he?
No, that would be that's Mr. What's his name? Just died, the comedian. Someone's got to throw in who's the comedian that makes fun of everybody. So,
who is he in Toy Story?
In Toy Story, he is.
Is he the dinosaur?
I think he's the dinosaur. Yeah. See, now I got to pull him up. So.
I thought he was Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. So no, that would be. Now, see, you're gonna make me think about this. I hate when Scott makes me think in the morning.
No thinking.
And once I say it, you're gonna be like, oh my god, yeah. So, and that's no. He's been. And a lot of times it's just one little bit part, and sometimes it's a big role. Like for the Cars, he's the semi truck that drives him around and stuff like that. Don Rickles is Mr. Potato Head.
That's
and
right.
Supposedly he did get all his stuff. He did get all his stuff recorded for Toy Story 4 that comes out next year. So we should see him on that. But yeah, I mean, it's John Ratzenberger, and he's kind of like their good luck charm. It started off as he was just in the first few, and then from there it's like
he's got to be the T-Rex then.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull him up here and see here. So he was in Toy Story.
All right, drum roll.
So drum roll.
And he is.
Give me a minute. No, actually, Wallace Shawn is Rex, the T-Rex. And that's
Ratzenberger.
And then Ratzenberger is
the piggy bank.
Yes, the piggy bank.
That's right.
Yeah,
he's the piggy
Ham.
Bank. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad we solved that mystery.
But we've been walking around going, oh my god, my brain is frying.
and of course, we can't forget the classic theme song for Golden Girls.
Sing a little. And it was, when you hear these theme songs, whether we can actually sing them now or not, as soon as you hear the first few notes, it's all, you're like, that's this song, that's this thing, this is this, that's that.
Talking about theme songs, too, even like commercials, like I remember I was... were you with me? You might have been with me. I can't remember because I remember I was on the road, so it was probably with you. It was the Michigan test somebody gave us. Were you there for that?
I might have been. It sounds familiar.
Wherever I was and whoever I was with, I mentioned I'm from Michigan, and they're like, okay, I gotta give you the Michigan test. I'm like, okay, and they're like, okay, finish this song. I'm like, okay. He's like, me and dog want to go to Telegraph Road right now.
now, get a good deal.
See? So he started singing, and I was able to finish. He goes, yep.
Actually, it starts off with, here, dog, come on, dog.
It was something like that. But I was able to finish, and he goes, yep, you're from Michigan.
Belfar superstar for a far better deal.
So many of those commercials really stick in your head.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's all those local commercials we had back in the 70s and 80s that were all the local stuff. And Belfar, of course, was Detroit Lion. And so he's always having his buddies.
And he'd have the cape on.
He'd be flying.
Yep. But you know what in commercial we don't want you guys to forget?
Oh, what's that?
Loringer. Family Chiropractic. We should tell everyone about them.
We should talk about Loringer. In fact, I was just there yesterday, and I texted Scott last Friday.
What a coincidence.
I know. I'm there every Tuesday. Like clockwork of that. I actually got out on Friday out in Dexter, and went and saw Dr. Corinne. And we're going to, in May, we haven't set the exact date yet. We're waiting because her sister Faith is graduating from the school she goes to in Arizona, and that's from college, and that, so they want to wait till we get back from that. And then we're going to have Dr. Corinne come in and spend an hour with us talking about chiropractic care, some of the stuff they do. It's going to be a fun conversation. She's real excited about it. She's been out of school for, I think, about a year and a half now, going almost 2 years and that, and she's doing really well, running the practice out there in Dexter for them and that. So she'll talk about some of the new techniques she knows and really get into what they do in chiropractic and what it really can do to help you out. Because, I mean, we can talk all day about everything they do. And at Loringer Family Chiropractic Center, PC, they do take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient. They offer on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, all with a full line of vitamins in a family-oriented environment. Give them a call. Their bellable number is 734-697-4244, but they can direct you to Dexter if needed. Also find them online at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com. We do have a link at oddmusings.com for all our sponsors. Just click the Odd Musings tab, sponsors, and they'll drop down for you. But give them a call. If you've not thought about chiropractic and you say, hey, I've had some interesting health issues, not feeling so good, a little sluggish, sometimes you just got to get your body adjusted a little bit, get it back in alignment, get the blood flowing right, the nerves working right. And I'll tell you, it helps me out, especially with doing the shift like I've been doing, a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of walking. Getting to the point I'm like, I may have to buy new clothes soon because stuff's getting kind of baggy on me in certain ways, and which is a good thing. I needed to lose weight and that, but this is all part of, the chiropractic has always been part of my health and wellness and getting better, especially since the car accident 11, almost 12 years ago. And getting adjusted helps me out. So, and my headaches have been subsided quite a bit because of it. Joints don't hurt as bad as they used to, things like that. So, and then, like I said, the massages are great there. Still praying for Terry. She seems to be doing pretty good in her treatments right now. Hopefully she'll be back eventually. There's no rush on that. She needs to get well. But they have a lot of other great massage therapists there. And then besides Dr. Anna, you got Dr. Jen, Dr. Brian, Dr. Lisa, you got Dr. Corinne over there in Dexter, and any one of them can take care of you. So definitely go see Loringer Family Chiropractic out there.
Very good.
And so this has been kind of fun. We still got 15, 20 minutes to go, and so we're not rushing to get out of here, guys. But the topic today was kind of what are we going to talk about, because we really didn't have a whole lot to talk about, and we've both been kind of busy with our lives and stuff like that, and things are going good. I think both of us are in a good spot right now. Yep. We aren't traveling like we used to, and that's fine too. But we do have this weekend with the Motor City Nightmares. Yep. I'm kind of excited to come out and be a fan with you. And you're going to be set up, and that just kind of hanging out for once and not set up at a show. I haven't done that in a little while, and seeing some people. I saw where Vincent Price's daughter Victoria is going to be there, so I want to go meet her and get her book. Talks about her life with her dad. Always loved Vincent Price movies, so definitely want to meet that. I saw where Lita Ford's going to be there, so that'll be fun to go meet her. And
it's a fun little. It's a smaller show. It's at the
Novi Sheridan.
Yeah, Novi Sheridan,
off of 8 Mile and Haggerty, off of 275 in Novi, Michigan.
It's an affordable show to go to. It's a fun.
Yeah, I think it's like $30 or $35 on Saturday to get in. Yep. So it's not too bad. But they have a good amount of celebrities. They'll have some good artists like Scott and a few other people. I saw where Tony Steele's going to be there. I've known him over the years at the shows. Yep. And he doesn't do Motor City Comic Con as much anymore, but he does a lot of gaming shows, things like that. And then they'll have some cool vendors. They have some movie rooms going on. Yep. Darlene's coming up. Brian Verhoeven and Darlene. Brian's not going to be there. He's doing another show, I guess. But she'll
be set up.
She's she's coming up to Geek Out. She's not setting up.
Not setting up?
No, she's just coming up to Geek Up and stuff like that.
Wow,
so
awesome.
Looking forward to seeing her. We're going to try to do dinner on Saturday night after the show and hang out for a little bit and visit.
Right.
And,
yeah, that'll be cool.
So, and then she'll be back with Brian for Motor City Comic Con.
Yep.
And that'll be fun to see. And hopefully we'll see Maddie's supposed to come up. I mean, if you remember last year, we checked in the hotel. They were staying at the same place we did. And Maddie's the one that's like, oh my God, it's great. she's my little buddy. I've known her since she was like 13, 14 with Darlene bringing her up to Motor City Comic Con. And so I always look forward to seeing them.
Yeah.
And that. But definitely, I mean, that's kind of the fun stuff we got going on this weekend.
But what I'm really excited for this weekend is the Avengers.
Yes, that was the big thing.
The countdown clock, I love how they've been putting out a lot regarding the lead up as far as reviewing the last 10 years of Marvel. They've been doing these behind the scene things where the actors are talking about what it's been like to be part of this, and it's just all it's doing is growing my excitement for it. And I said it off air was during the pre-show was I had my tickets for Friday at 10:30 with my daughter, so I'm excited for that. But I'm like, I can't wait. So I got the ticket last night. I went on and there was one seat left, and it's actually a good spot in the theater.
Yeah,
grab that seat. So 7:10 tomorrow night.
I got mine like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I got to get my ticket. I'm forgetting to get it, and I wanted to do the fan event, so I'm doing the 6 o'clock fan event. So I'll get the coin and then free popcorn and that stuff, and it starts at 6.
Right.
And that and I'm not sitting in the back row like I normally do. I'm kind of in the middle. And the beauty of the Imagine Theaters, there's plenty of room there. Regardless, I don't have anybody like right behind me kicking the seat or anything. And so I'm kind of more center in the film. So I'm like, okay, 3D center, that'd be pretty good.
Oh, you're doing 3D.
Yeah,
nice.
well, that's what the fan event's 3D. So.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that in 3D.
I'll have to figure out it is in 3D. Both of my viewings are 2D. But
I'll see it again probably in 2D.
Yeah.
I'll have to go like next week during the week and see it.
I'm assuming they're going to have an IMAX version playing.
That if they do, I would think so too. That one I may have to go to a different theater for. But if I like it as much as I'm going to, it's one of the things where I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. But the last time I was super excited about a movie, I was let down. Back in December.
Thing is,
I won't say which one it was.
But with these ones,
but that was the last time I was let down in a movie.
But you got the Russo brothers, which did Winter Soldier, which is to this day still my all-time favorite superhero movie.
It's Marvel, and they've built everything up. It's like I went back and watched Ragnarok the other day, and I was like, I need something. I'll watch Thor Ragnarok. I haven't watched that. I bought it, but I didn't watch it until just now because I seen it twice in the theaters, and that. But I love the movie,
right? And
I was like, okay, I have to do that. So
so I'm so uber excited for Infinity War coming out on Thursday. Robert, we did discuss Ready Player One a few episodes back, but one cool thing about Ready Player One, because we tied that into the VR experience we did with Star Wars.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it in Orange County, at another location, they're opening up an Alien VR one. So you're one of the colonial marines.
Okay.
And you fight alien. And that's going to be with how intense Star Wars was. I imagine the alien experience is going to be pretty.
Having an alien come right at you and you see.
Spitting some acid at you or something.
That's cool.
But the whole VR thing is just amazing. And I'll tell you what.
I'm tempted to do it.
Ready Player One was a cool movie, but watching it in light of doing the VR experience that we did, it really made wow, I can totally see this. Actually, it's dangerous. I would never leave my house if this technology
PlayStation
was real.
has the VR, and my nephew has it. And a couple of days I played, it felt like you're right in there. Not as much as doing the VR.
But what we did was, if I could do that every day.
But what helped was the fact that we were actually physically moving around somewhere. We had a vest on that was a haptic vest, so we felt vibrations and things like that.
Felt the vibration. Plus, they had some practical effects going on, so you would actually feel heat when things exploded.
Yeah.
And so I believe there was wind even.
There was a little bit of wind, you had heat, and then when you're stepping on certain things, because of how uneven it was, you felt the unevenness of it, and it felt like as we were actually crossing an actual metal grate.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was so bizarre. But Ready Player One, we've thoroughly enjoyed.
I loved it. It's funny. I kind of got someone commented on my Facebook after I said I loved it. Really, I said, yeah, I loved it. And the thing is, it wasn't like the book. I was like, yeah, there was changes, but what they did is they took the essence of the book and they created this movie. and I can live with both. If I really want what's in the book, I don't need to see it. I'll go back and read it, because reading the book, you got more in his mind. You're not going to get that in a 2-hour.
You never get that in a movie.
But I love the movie, and definitely will buy it when it comes out, because I really enjoyed that.
And I really love the crossovers that occurred in it. Which even got me thinking about some other crossovers. There was an article today. The TV series Dark Matter.
Yeah,
it was canceled on Sci-Fi.
Really?
So they didn't get to finish it. There was like 6 or 8 episodes short of giving it an actual finish. And I'm blanking on the company name, but it's the company that does Stargate. They have a streaming service for Stargate fans. They approached the guy. They wanted, because the guy who was involved actually wrote for Stargate too. They wanted to buy the rights to Dark Matter and make it into a crossover and tie it into the Stargate universe.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was really cool reading about the concept they had, and it sounds like it didn't happen. Yeah. But you never know. Maybe it will down the road. But reading that, and like with Ready Player One, it got me thinking about what other crossovers. Like, for instance, people will talk about Star Trek, Star Wars. Yeah. It doesn't really work. They're too different. But I could see like buying the rights to Firefly and tying that into Star Wars. They would actually merge very well.
Oh yeah, because you could have that going on.
Yeah, a character like Captain Mal could totally interact in the Star Wars universe.
Well, even what they did, they were junkers basically. They were kind of rogues. They were scoundrels. Yeah. So it fits into that whole side part there.
And even the ship designs, the Serenity ship, that would work in Star Wars.
Yeah, that would work.
I think it would totally fit in.
Yeah.
So I could totally, and vice versa. I could see Boba Fett being a bounty hunter in the Firefly universe. So I could see that would be a great crossover.
Yeah.
And then there's the famous April Fool's joke that was put out a long time ago, which actually would work. Mm-hmm. The April Fool's joke many years ago was Lucasfilm announced that Willow was going to be made part of the Star Wars universe, and it was actually a planet, an undiscovered planet in the Star Wars universe, where the magic in it was actually the Force, but the people were so primitive that they didn't understand what the Force was yet, so they saw it as magic.
Right.
And but it actually would work.
Yeah, that would.
Or you could make that into a pre-Force, like pre-Jedi era, where they didn't understand what the Force was yet.
Yeah, they were just getting the powers and that, so that would work.
Any other crossovers pop in your head that
like
we talked before?
If you wanted to cross anything with Star Trek, I think the closest would be Battlestar Galactica, the original series, because you got a little political intrigue. Yes, they have the fighter jets. They don't really deal with fighter plane or fighter spaceships like they do in Star Trek. Is all big ships, but there is the bigger Galactica ship, and it's more of a
actually Galactica really is a good crossover between Star Wars and Star Trek, because
it kind of covers both in some ways.
Because the battle, the way it's done with the giant ships, with the Galactica, you get more the feel of the starship battles, where it's kind of like the submarine warfare feel.
Right.
But then you have the starfighters, which are more Star Wars, so you get that dogfighting aspect to it. So actually, I could see Battlestar Galactica working in either of those.
Yeah, it could go either way on that. I don't know. Crossovers are kind of interesting. It's been done in comics in different ways. They take these two and bring them together and say, let's.
The classic was like when they had the DC Marvel crossover. That was awesome.
That was great. It was neat they did that.
Of course, everyone pretty much battled to a draw. Although, I think. Like in there, Superman actually wielded Thor's hammer, I believe.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those times
well, it would show that he was actually worthy enough to, do the hammer. And that, I mean, it's interesting when they do some crossovers and things like that. But for the most part, I don't want to see too much stuff like that, because I think it's a little too much. And then
Robert's asked about Sci-Fi's Expanse. I only saw half of season 1.
Yeah.
It was off to a good start. I just haven't had time to follow it, and it's one of those things on my list. And my understanding from things I've read, it's gotten better and better.
Yeah, I've got to go. That's one I keep forgetting to go back and watch. Yeah, because I hear good things about that. So
yeah, the Expanse is definitely one I want to go back and check out.
That's one of the ones on my list. And when I'm sitting there going, I need to watch something, it just hasn't popped in my head. Not that it's not a good series. I watched the first couple episodes and liked it. Mm-hmm. I got away from it and need to go back and watch it.
Of course, there's the Doctor Who and Sherlock crossover everyone wants.
Well, I mean, you could do that because he can go in time and actually.
Well, then it would explain how Sherlock survived the fall too.
Right.
You had the TARDIS swoop in, catch him, and because that's the big.
And he fell into the TARDIS's pool. There.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Sometimes the crossover stuff stuff people want to see. It's like, that's just not. I don't think it'd be fun.
I think there are some that would work. Some are just forced.
Yeah.
It's got to be a natural fit. But I just found it interesting that the Stargate people approached them and were trying to work out a deal to get them over there.
Yeah, I think there's some ways you can, and you hear about different movies and TV shows. They start saying, "Well, it's all part of this universe," even though they don't really cross around. They're trying to say this is our grand vision of everything. And
Then you have like the Cloverfield series where they're doing it in an interesting way, where they're kind of making it. It's weird because it's like these individual movies that actually do cross over the same universe, but they did it in such a way that you don't know it till afterwards.
Right. I mean, the first one, which was that one came out at the same time that Diary of the Dead came out for Romero, and they're done with that kind of that first person look. And Romero was first one to start it, and of course it took long to come out because of the money. But they were kind of like, here's this found footage, and of course that was all taken from Blair Witch. It's like this is the footage of that, but it was all done with supposedly one camera, though it was multi-camera. It's just changing up the angle at times and moving around. And we see that first Cloverfield. It's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. You barely see the monster. It's a survival story. And realistically, if you were running through a city, you wouldn't hopefully see the monster that much. You'd be trying to get away from whatever's destroying everything. Yeah. And then you get the second one, and it takes place in an underground bunker at an address which is 10 Cloverfield Lane. So that was the premise of that. And then tying at the end of that was the alien monster invasion. And then same thing with the last one that shows basically how that started. And that was, I like how they did. They're all independent movies that work. I feel they work well individually. Yeah. But the crossover is the whole monster invasion of almost like kaiju. So
one that just popped in my head that would be maybe interesting would be the Matt Damon Jason Bourne versus Daniel Craig 007.
Well, you know what? I have a feeling that Bourne would take him out because even though the Daniel Craig Bond is a little harder and rougher
but he would have gadgets.
He does have gadgets. Bourne is a gadget, though.
Yeah, but Bourne is like Superman, and Daniel Craig would be like Batman. Yeah. Batman has gadgets.
I know,
and somehow he survives against everybody, even though everybody.
Because Bourne has no feeling on anything. He's just like, okay, boom, 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 you're gone. There would be no speculation. There would be no. Well, I'm like Superman, so I have some ethics. Nope, I have none.
The Accountant was also one.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie that he could work into something.
Yeah,
he'd be
the accountant. The Accountant and Jason Bourne had the accountant stalking Bourne.
I have to admit, on a personal level, I can't stand not Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed him in The Accountant. The Accountant was good. I would love to see that storyline move on and see what.
I'd be interested.
It was an interesting character.
Yeah, well, he's basically he's autistic in some ways, but he's very methodical in everything he does, from the accounting to
his OCD pattern and how he gets through life gives him this ability to be able to act the way he does. Right, and it's pretty cool. But
I enjoy some of Affleck's stuff, not everything, but most of it I've done over the years because I think he's a decent actor. Personally, his personal life I don't know anything about. I just read what you hear and stuff like that. So.
Right.
Of course, he was in Dazed and Confused, and he was a complete jerk. So that's what he bases it on. So, so this has been fun today.
It has been fun.
We're kind of geeking out a little bit on stuff.
Everyone who chimed in.
Yeah, it was good. We got some good feedback from you guys, and really enjoyed everybody that put their comments in there. And
so coming up this weekend, like I said, we got Motor City Nightmares. Coming up, so you can check us out there. And
next week though is our big 1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary
of Odd Musings.
Yes.
Joe's going to join us, so he can be our whipping boy. Yep. And we can make fun of him the whole hour, and he will take it, and then he will write us another check for advertising later on.
We got
Joe knows we make fun of him. And
then and Motor City Comic Con, is it 3 weeks after that?
Yes. It's going to be the
third weekend.
Let's see,
right?
1, 2.
I think it's the third week.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks from now. So
from now I think it's 4 weeks.
Yeah, so it's 4 weeks. So it's it's getting there.
It's getting there. So
we got time.
3 weeks.
Dominic, where are you going to be at this weekend?
East Coast Comic Con in Secaucus, New Jersey.
All right.
Secaucus, I heard you're taking Tony Mielo home back to Jersey.
Yes. Yeah. I've never done this show. I really know a hell of a lot about it, but we're table 718 and all the listeners.
Bring a lot of charcoal filters.
Yeah. Well, maybe I got my friend Kelly and her husband Rich out there in Jersey, maybe coming out to that. So
cool.
If they do, if Kelly, if you're listening, I'll try to message on Facebook, say go visit the Dominic and support the book. books. You got some cool books going on, and
the charcoal filters are so when Tony bombs the bathroom, you can breathe through the charcoal filter and survive.
Here's the rule for traveling with Tony:
don't allow
no White Castle.
No White Castle.
I'm sleeping in a tent outside the hotel.
Yeah.
Get a gas mask.
I still remember the one time very clearly. 2 hours later, we walk in the room and it's still
all right.
Smelled the same, and Tony was very proud of that.
Definitely, I'm sure he was. Well, this has been fun, guys. Next week,
on that note,
Dominic's going to bring us cake next week.
Oh, cake! Wow.
Until then, Dominic, take us out, man.